today we are going to talk about holiday anxiety as an entrepreneur and how do you answer questions to your family about your business when they don't even really get what you do? So, I think this is a thing. I don't know if this is a thing for everyone listening, but in conversations I hear all the time from entrepreneurs that they have trouble explaining their business. And that when they end up sitting down at Christmas dinner or they're at the epic family gathering, and there's always this like one eyebrow, like, so how are things going? I don't know if that's something that you've ever experienced, Kylie, where you're at the epic holiday parties, right? No, it's the season, everybody's having them now. And that ever present kind of like one eyed brow look from people who really don't understand what your business is. It's almost like you can hear that they feel sorry for you sometimes in the
Yeah.
way that they ask about it, or yeah. So, anyways, I think this is a thing. I know I've definitely experienced this multiple times in my career. Tell me your experience.
So funny. I'm just like I just can't help but like laugh. I can't help but laugh at like our how we showed up today too. I obviously have this very tall hat, so I've also shown up with my face looking like I feel right now in this like coming into holiday time. Like it's nuts, right? There's just so much going on. So yes, very timely topic and quite funny because I find, especially with my, well, not, I guess, like my, not my immediate family, but some of my more distant family, sometimes will just be like, they just don't even know what to ask,
Yeah.
and so it kind of gets a little bit avoided sometimes, I feel like, um,
Yeah.
at the holiday gatherings, which is fine. I mean, we've certainly talked a lot about, how do you respond when someone's asking you what you do, or when they think they have a sense of what it is you do. But there's something funny that happens around holiday and
Mm.
Christmas, especially, I think.
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
sure you've experienced that as well,
A
and
hu
and have some funny stories.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're right, like, it has to do with the fact that it's holiday, and so everybody, when they get together at a gathering, they all wanna somehow it seems like everybody wants to have a more deep bonding experience when when everyone's talking to you, and so it's, like, the one time of year where there's kind of, like, unwritten permission to go deep and to get into these really deep conversations. So, for me, the biggest memory of the first time this happened was when I was running a sales company, and I was a kid, right? Like, I'm 21 years old, I've left university. I'm not advocating that to anybody else out there. That was a choice that I made when I found this career, and it was the absolute right choice for me. And so I'm at home. I've got a very, very big, lovely, lovely, lovely extended family. We always get together for all of the big holidays, or did until there was just way too many of us with now all of the extra generations. But there were conversations where we were sitting around the table, and it would have been some of the people that are not in my immediate family that would put out the question, "So, what is it that you're doing now?" And, like, and it was really challenging. It was funny because at that time, I mean, I had started a sales company, and I hadn't yet started the company. I was in training at another sales office. And so I was doing the most unsexy, unglamorous job competitively against some others I'm sure people would throw out there in the world. And I was doing door to door sales for straight commission, right? And I knew that this was a very good decision for me. But now being a little, yeah, and now being a little bit older, I can see where people may have been like, "Uh-oh," "Uh-oh, is she going down the dark wrong path?" Right? And also not knowing that I really felt that I was working with a very integrity driven outfit, and I was learning so much, and my world was expanding so quickly because there's so much personal development and all of these things, right? Like I was in love with what I was doing, which sounds even crazy to me today to hear me say that out loud because it was door to door sales in Canada in the winter time. Right, like, it's the again, like, the most unthankful,
It's grunt.
thankless, you
Yeah,
know.
it's grunt work. I mean, you really are like, probably people don't look at that and go, "Oh, that sounds like an amazing job. Like, so there's an element of that too, where it's like it's really hard work.
Yeah.
And you
Really
know, and you've got so many stories about that door to door experience of being received kindly and also being received
terribly.
terribly. And so, like, it's not an easy. And then you're right. You add Canadian winter. You add the darkness.
Yes.
You add just everything, right? All of it.
Everything.
Everything.
Social anxiety, knocking on the door, and it's somebody that
Yeah.
is, like, around my age, and,
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, for me, that was the worst when I was in my very early 20s. Yeah, but so I totally do. I remember having those conversations, and they were with older, distant family members, and they just, again, they just totally didn't get it. And I think I was okay with that at the time, and I didn't really feel the need to sell them on it. So that was one thing.
Mm.
Is do you feel the need to kind of convince people that you're doing something that's right, or do you just simply know that you are on your own and you're not seeking approval, and so you then go about answering questions in, I think, a little bit more of a vague way, is the way that people would do it at a more mature perspective. I know that there's ladies out there that are starting businesses or side hustles, and they're in their 40s and probably are going to get some of these questions at the dinner table. Tell us about X business. And I really do. I think that that's a very provocative point. That, do you feel like you need to convince people you're doing something that's right, or are you totally okay with it because you've already decided you approve, and so you can kind of handle their questions a little bit lighter and not have it be such this deep discussion?
Well, I think that's how it should go. In
Right.
my mind's eye, that's how it should feel and should go. But let's talk for a minute about what the holidays brings. Like, I mean, you've got the set December hits, and there's always, I know in my world, there's always like, okay, when are we going to get together? What, let's set a date. Like there's this pressure, like, and not bad pressure. I mean, I want to see everyone. I want to get to. I love the holiday parties. I love gathering. I love, but everybody focuses on that at this time, and
Mm.
then you it's so visible, like all of a sudden you're at a family gathering, let's say, and maybe the rest of the year you knew that Aunt Jean was up to X and Uncle Joe was doing whatever, but now all of a sudden you're all these personalities and all these different characters are in a room, and there's this weird pressure that I think falls on us to be like, yeah, look what I've done. And also Christmas time, for me, calendar year wise,
Yeah.
is always sort of the year end of like, okay, what have I accomplished this year? What am I really happy with? What am I not so happy with? It's a very reflective time of year already. And
Mm.
so I think all of those factors shoved into a room with lots of lights and Christmas music and other stimulation going on, I think it just becomes fraught with like, I just like to get drunk and yell at people,
To be a fly on the wall and come to one of your Christmas parties.
right? There is that saying, drink it tolerable. I don't know.
Million
I mean,
percent.
I'm totally joking because actually I really love connecting with friends and family at
Of
Christmas
course.
time. I have a new appreciation now of this time of year. It was hard for a number of years there. I lost my dad 11 years ago, and Christmas just I just could care less. I wanted to go to sleep and wake up and it be January 1st. So
Yeah.
I relearned how to really enjoy, and so part of that for me is humor, right? And look at my hat. Like I have to come into it knowing that I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna have some wobbly pops because that's part of it, and bring it.
Yeah. A million percent. A million percent. It's fascinating because, like, today, my, like, again, I'm reflecting on my own experience, but today when I get together with my family, I mean, you know that my family and I are very, very close.
Yes,
And they are all massive fans, right? Like, so they are seeking, they're like, it's almost like tails wagging when they ask what's happening with She the Mighty, what are you guys up
yes,
to,
yeah, big
what's on the
fan.
plan for this year. They are all so supportive. I mean, my nephews have been brainstorming with me, like, from 5 years ago on what should be cool and what can we do. And so I feel like I'm very blessed in that scenario. That said, my extended family, who I also love dearly, but I don't think that they quite get what I'm doing, right? Because it's always like this one little question. It's like, so
How's
what
it
are you
going?
yeah, what's going on with She the Mighty, and what are you doing like, what are you doing again? Okay. So, okay. And I like their intent is absolutely in the right
Yes.
place. Yes.
Yes.
But to it's I think I find it really interesting how I can feel so certain, so passionate. I can have whiteboards of unending length that describe and have all of the components of our business and the business plan and all of the things mapped out. And I think that that's the same for so many other people, so many women as well that are either in service-based businesses, or they've just started a skincare brand, or they're starting at this or what have you. And the question can sometimes always just right come back down to, so how's it going? And there's a look of concern, and for me I think that that's the thing. It's the look of
Sure.
concern
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that
I think it's important too to go. I mean, again, we're running at Mach speed in December. Like, I don't know, for most people, there's so much going on. You're fitting things in. Yeah, I can do that. You're often doing more than three, four things in a day. But I think it's important before you go into these parties or into these social gatherings to your whole take up space exercise. Like, take a minute for yourself to go, how do I want to show up, feel? How do I want to respond? Because I think the response can be, it's totally appropriate for the response to be, it's going so amazing, thank you.
mm,
And
up,
you just end it.
absolutely.
You just
Yeah.
end it, and if they really are curious or they really want to know, they will ask some questions and you go from there. But if they're just like, "Hey, ooh, how's it going?" You can be like, "Great." And like, how's the barn? I don't know. Like, you don't have to have a conversation. You can just say, "So amazing, thank you."
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, like, a reality for entrepreneurs is that you are always seemingly in a lion fight. And sometimes plans don't go as they're supposed to or as you expected them to. And maybe the conversation and the update that was given last Christmas is now what they're going to check in and ask you to report on your progress this year. And sometimes that can then feel like an experience in brutality
Yeah. And
to an
I think we have to remember too that, like, we have to come at this with some humility as well. Like, it's not usually about us.
yeah.
Like, the holiday time is fraught with emotion for a lot of people, and sometimes they're coming to the holiday party, even our own family members. They're coming to the holiday party or the gathering with their own stuff, and it just gets pushed onto us and we misread it. So I think if we can have some grace, some humility, some forgiveness on everybody's running at that, like, they're at 11 on the amp, right?
Yeah. And then I think it's really interesting, like the dichotomy of it, where now let's flip it for a second. And now let's say it's the epic friends or social group get together at the restaurant where everybody is going to get all dolled up and everybody's going to see each other. And then my experience is the questions are flipped a little differently, where they are asking because they're also interested in telling how successful their year
They
has
are,
been.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, and whether or not this is part of the actual truth, or if it's just this simply amplified chest bumping competition from grade 8 or high school relationships or whatever they happen to be, forecast forward down into the future, when people get together and say, "Hey, how was your year?" And I have been standing in a room, I can't even tell you how many times, when I'm hearing somebody answer saying, "Oh man, it's so good." And I happen to know that that's not the
Yeah,
truth at all, but it becomes this power contest a
yes,
little bit
yes.
in the way that you're expected to report. And again, it's the whole social media. How do we show up? Who's telling the truth to whom? What does it look like?
Yeah, I
And I
know.
think Christmas time is just it's a massive amplifier of
It
all of
is.
those things. Yeah.
It is, and I mean, that's a good point too, because no judgment on how people treat social media. I know it's a necessary evil sometimes for people, especially for entrepreneurs that have a message they want to get out there. There's not very many other places except for She the Mighty to come, and like, there's no other online places to be able to go, here's what I'm selling, here's what I'm doing. But I do notice that, for me, I know some really successful people that are in such joy of what they're doing that they're not there. They're not on there. And the people that are constantly posting to say, here's what I'm selling, here's what I'm doing, they're it's just a different energy behind what it is that they're accomplishing. And so I love meeting people at friends gatherings at that restaurant you're talking about where I can really see that this person is just they don't care because they love their life so much and they love what they're doing that that power piece doesn't even come in to play, and you can see when the other side is true. So I love that you pointed that out. It's just a part of us as women, I think, and what's happening when we gather.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I heard this a piece of advice from a mentor of mine. Again, I'm going back probably 30 years, and it's one of the most powerful pieces of advice that I have received. One that stays in the diamond type of advice collection, and I think it's very relevant for this conversation. And the the piece of advice came from, again, back in that door to door business, where there were lots of times when there were people that would be telling their parents what they were doing, because a huge amount of the field force, right, which is all the people that are doing the sales, a huge amount of them are university age. And what an amazing experience. I mean, I can't advocate for it enough. I think that everybody
Learn by doing that one role.
do it for one summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Go out there and get your butt kicked. Go out there and realize how quickly you emotionally get triggered and how to not allow that to happen. You've got to learn how to lengthen your fuse, and then also learn how to be able to dissect people's micro expressions so that when someone opens the door, you can see, are you standing too close, right? Like, one of the biggest things that we learned was to go back and then step, like, be halfway down the stairs. So, like, I am so not in your comfort zone. All of these tiny little things are world class pieces of evidence on how to have better connection with people and on how to have better communication. So, again, like that experience again. It is impossible to exaggerate how I believe everybody at the university age should go out and spend a summer doing door to door sales,
Totally
because of
agree.
what you're going to learn in hyperdrive. It would take you a decade to
Yeah.
learn
Yep.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yep.
So, what the advice was, point number one is that if people in your life this Christmas are challenging you about what it is that you're doing, or the business that you're working to build, or the brand new idea that you're putting resources behind, or you're looking to invest in something that might sound crazy to others but totally makes sense to you, and you're doing your research, you've looked for vetted confirmation, you have a market that you can go after, and you believe in it and you feel that way about it, then this is some of the tips that I got that will perhaps also serve you through this experience. And so, number one, if they're questioning you, it's probably because they love you.
Mm.
So it's coming from a good place. I mean, sometimes you could argue, and for some people and personalities that we can all think of, it wouldn't be. But in most cases,
Times, yeah.
it is.
Instead of concern and love. Yeah.
It's out of concern and love. And so that's fine. The second piece is they don't have to get it. You do. Right. Right. And the third piece, and this is my favorite, is that when you're telling this to people who have known you since you were a child and couldn't keep your room clean, and you had difficulty wearing socks that matched, and now they hear you talking about how you're going to change the world with your business idea or what have you, and they don't necessarily see you that way, then the bottom line behind it is this: is if they believe that you're not going to succeed because they don't think you can, they're either right or they're wrong. And so if they're right, because you don't work hard, because you are lazy, because you do have this big idea, but you sit on the couch all day, because you don't execute, because you don't generate results, because you think big ideas, but there's no delivery. If they are right, they're right. But if they're wrong, prove it and take that with you through your family gathering and into 2026, and make it be the year that you get it done.
Man, that is cool. I love it. That's a great story. And I love that you reminded everyone of that whole like you have to know. You
You
have
have
to
to know.
be solid and as long as you are there, you're unstoppable and
Mm.
it doesn't matter. And I think that's massive. And I think if and we're around women like that all the time. So that's pretty cool. Um
Yeah. Yeah.
so on that note, I would just say like, bring on the holiday parties.
Oh yeah, 100%. I totally agree. And to reflect on one thing you just said is that there's a chasm of space, right? I know we say this all the time. There's a chasm of space between confidence and certainty.
Mhm.
Confidence is when you're hopeful that things are going to keep kind of rolling your way and you build that on the shoulders of other experiences is when you're dangerous.
Yeah.
Because when you know you're certain and you're in a disagreement with somebody, maybe you're in a relationship with them and you know you're right and they are arguing the other point, you are almost dangerous
Yeah.
at how hard you will stand your ground. And so to be somebody who is going to invest in that for themselves, to invest in your certainty. And so over the holidays, the other thing that I learned to do was to not necessarily spend all of the holiday time off like completely escaping, like vegging out. So do that for sure. Like do that if you're feeling called to give yourself some time and to pamper and to relax and to veg and to do that. But on the heels of that, and I know that I maybe am biased, but on the heels of that, I would invest in your certainty, which means go and further your education. So if that means buying a couple of books that are going to give you more skill, that are going to give you more tools, that are going to give you a better understanding of the business landscape that you are actively participating in, that is going to be something that's going to inflate you. It's going to be something that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to feel more capable. You're going to feel as though you can take on more than you have before. Invest in those things. I know that we're launching the Confidence Kickstart program again on the platform for January 1st. It's something that we do every single month. We call it putting yourself first on the first. And for women, it's something that we very rarely remember to do, to allow ourselves to even just be on the same level as other people that we all take care of and we serve.
Yep.
And that is in the collective. It's the free part of the platform. There'll be a link above or below this video where you can click and you can join and you can be with us there on the first. So if holiday season and holiday parties don't go great, or you'd like a team of people, a choir of others to jump in and do a little bit of an up leveling after the holiday season, then jump in and join us. We start on the 1st of January. It is an epic experience. We do it all year long, and we would love to hear your stories or
Mhm.
your holiday experiences and also see you there.
Yay. Well, we'll look for you next time.
Thanks for listening.